Thank you. Nice job. Transforming education is very difficult to do. I want to talk about the education revolution today, because there is a revolution happening in education, and it's actually, you're a part of it. In fact, you're there at the center of it. In the education revolution, we got away from the student a little bit. How does that happen? Well, you know, bureaucracy isn't always bad. Bureaucracy is a natural human tendency. If you put two people together, you'll soon have a bureaucracy. Anybody married? But what happens, though, in bureaucracy is we get so busy doing what we do that we tend to forget about why we do it. Would you agree? And so what happens, just, you know, there's business. There's a business in education. There's a lot of money to be made. Years ago, there was a lot of publishers, 11 publishers. More, it was 15, then 11, and now 3 major publishers. Why are the publishers important? Well, they were like GM, Ford, and Chrysler. They owned so much of this industry that with Texas and California and Florida, they would create the learning tools, and anybody else that had great learning tools couldn't get in. Does that make sense to you? So here's the teacher down here, kind of blocked by all of these things. Not because Pearson and McGraw-Hill and all these people are bad people. They're great people, and they care deeply about education. They just had their bureaucracy in the way they did things. Would you agree? Technology is going to put the power back in the hands of the teachers. See, when I grew up, going into a classroom, not that much boring than sitting at home. We had 3 television stations that worked. Kids today going into a classroom sometimes feel like they're going into Bin Laden's cave. We still have the 4-to-1 ratio. 25 minutes a week, 35 minutes a week per student on a computer. It's changing. It's changing. And how is it changing? The companies that are out there, who are they selling to? They're trying to appeal to you. What does that tell you? You have power in this process. Would you agree? Well, now technology has created a revolution. It's going to put the power back in the hands of the teacher. More than that, it's going to connect the kids again back to a world they understand. See, when I was growing up, when I went into a classroom, it wasn't like going into a cave in Afghanistan. Kids today have more technology at their fingertips all day long than we can provide them in the school. But we're getting better, aren't we? It's all coming back. This is the education revolution. And who's at the center of it? The people that should be at the center of it, the teacher, the ones that touch the kids and make the connection. And a child in a classroom is trying to figure out who they are. Would you agree? It's not math that turns them on. It's what math means to who? Them. It's not the grammar that turns them on. It's what that means to who? Them. They have to find themselves in the subject matter. Would you agree with that? And would you agree that the minute they see themselves in the subject matter, that's the switch that turns the light on in their eyes? That's the ultimate connection. You know, I speak and consult around the world on transformation. I just got back from Australia and Paris. And nobody likes to hear some of the things I say. But does that mean I shouldn't say them? One of them is we're born alone, we die alone, we live the middle part, denial of those 2 facts. Longing to make a connection. We're born alone, we die alone. We live the middle part in denial of those 2 facts, longing to make a connection. If we try to make a connection so we can find meaning. How old is the child when they're in the high chair with a little tray in front of them, spitting, you know that part, okay, that age? How old are they when they knock the thing off the tray, and you, what do? Where do you put it? That's where it goes. That's where you put it the first time. How old are they, though, when they look and go, how old is that? How old? About 8 months? Okay, because I can't have kids. I didn't get married till 9 years ago, and And I, just can't have children, so I don't know these things. 8 months, roughly 9 months? Yeah, 8 months? You're laughing. Yours does that? You put it back? Oh yeah, so then she does it. What's her name? Grace. Great name. I think to be gracious is one of the most wonderful compliments you could ever pay to somebody. Say, well, they're a gracious person. Great name. So Grace knocks it off. You pick it up. You put it back. Grace knocks it off. You put it back. That is the beginning, and you don't have to be a child psychologist to understand this, of the child understanding the connection they can have with other bodies. If I do this, I can make that big smelly person do that. So can I really quickly show you how a story helps you find meaning? I'm going to go very deep. Nothing you can't handle. Hang with me real quick. Focus. If it's easier to focus on the big screens, focus on those. If it's easier to look at me, look at me. Here we go. You ready? Really deep. How a story helps us make connection to find meaning. Scrambled eggs, bacon, and hash brown. Walk into a bar. They ask the bartender for a drink. The bartender refuses to serve them. When they ask why, he says, it's simple, we don't serve breakfast here. A bad joke at best. Some of you would tell your friends, God bless your friends. But let's review what happened. In 15 seconds, let's review what happened. I prompted you first and said, this is going to go deep, and some of you went, not losing me, and others went, oh boy. Based on the story you, what? Tell yourself you are. And then I said, stay with me, here we go. This is how a story helps us connect separate things so we can find what? Which is what we're all looking for. Then I said scrambled eggs, bacon, and hash browns. And you needed to make a what? Really fast, because you weren't going to lose me, right? And so in your mind, you said a word. What was the word? But I didn't say breakfast. You said breakfast. And I said walks. And you went breakfast walks. Yeah. And I said into a bar. And you went, it's a joke. See how you've made the connections and you're finding meaning. And as long as you were finding meaning, you were cool. But then I said, and they asked the bartender for a drink. And you went, okay, now the breakfast is talking. I'm completely gone. But it wasn't until I said the punchline, which is a cliche. We don't serve, my word or yours, we don't serve breakfast. Here, you had that, well, laughter. It wasn't laughter, haha, funny laughter. It was relief. It's a joke. I got it. You see? We're more comfortable when we make connection and find what? Meaning.